at the beginning of this month, the 2nd of July, we talked about the German mystery player that could end up at Arsenal. I picked three. I said Schlotterbeck, Mittelstadt, and Andrich. You said it could be Gnabry, Julian Brandt, or Schlotterbeck. Now it's looking likely that it's not none of them. Now, we did mention the likes of Kimmich and Sané, but you did say those are not really secrets, Those players are really well known. But according to Timmy's and Ticks, all reports linking Leroy Sané to Arsenal, on reports linking Sané to Arsenal, I believe this is what the mystery player was, who the mystery player was. The other day, I got an update that it was off because Bayern Munich couldn't secure their targets. And then this was reported by Plettenberg. Arsenal are monitoring Leroy Sané's situation. However, the player's focus is on Bayern. The current tendency is that Sané will stay and extend his contract. Now, we've been told that this is the mystery player. Now, do you think there was ever a chance of Sané joining Arsenal, though?
I think the chance is still there. And the chance might actually go away if Bayern 100% fail to sign Desire Doué this summer. But if Bayern invest money in Desire Doué, Serge Gnabry is injured. That means that they have to keep him inevitably. They have signed Michael Olise. There is Jamal Musiala in that team. There is a big possibility that Sané leaves.
I'm muted, sorry. So Sané, it would be a good backup for Saka. So why you don't believe Sané would join Arsenal is not because Arsenal is not a good team for him or anything like that. No. It's because would Sané want to be a backup for Saka? That's the thing, because Saka is not going to be a backup for Arsenal. So that's why I asked, is there a chance of him really joining Arsenal? Because what would we tell him? Are you going to start on the left side? You used to play on the left side for Man City before. But are we going to convince him that, hey, you're going to be a backup for Saka? He's not really a backup player because he's not that old. So do you think he'd really be attracted by, the project in terms of being a backup?
I think that there are a couple of factors at play here. I think his contract situation at Bayern is interesting. Yes, he wants to extend, but do Bayern 100% want to give him a new deal at the conditions he wants? Because do they value him the way they valued him a year ago? No. Now they have new machines, they have new managers, they have new coaches, and they have new players. The other thing is the relationship he has with Mikel Arteta. That is one thing I'm looking at, and I'm like, okay, this is something that can actually come into play. And it has come into play a couple of times. Alexander Zinchenko, Gabriel Jesus as well, and then Inaki Keina attracting David Raya as well, in goal. So it is something that's
also a set piece. Also, you have a set piece coach.
Yeah, also you as well. Yeah, so it is something that has worked for Arsenal before, attracting players that have worked with Mikel Arteta and have a relationship with them. And I'm going to say this. I think the best of Sané we have seen was when he worked with Mikel Arteta and he played as a proper winger. That is the best Sané we have seen. He was young then. He was on fire from Schalke 04, and he was really, really brilliant. He had lightning, pace and things like that. But I still think there are some elements of that in his game. So I would say the relationship with Mikel Arteta, I don't think Bayern need him as they needed him 1 or 2 years ago. And also the opportunity of coming back in the Premier League and maybe, proving to Manchester City. Arsenal have done this, and Mikel Arteta has done this. We have tried to give players an opportunity to prove to the world that I am this good. Martin Odegaard is one of them. Like, Mikel is so good at saying, I'm going to save him. I'm going to turn him around. Kai Havertz is the other. He's so good at saying, I know inside you're good, but the world never saw that. And because if Sané retires right now, no one is ever going to talk about Sané. I think Sané would have his name behind Mario Götze in conversations in German football and European football, because German Götze has that iconic World Cup moment that none of us ever will forget. None of us, right? So I would say at the moment, Sané needs to prove a point before he turns 35, and maybe Mikel Arteta, picks up his phone. We know how the conversations go. You have something to prove. I have a platform for you to prove that by helping me to win the Champions League and helping me to win the Premier League. Are you up for a challenge? I don't think so many players are going to go, I've given up. I think many players are up for a challenge. It's what we're hearing with Mikel Moreno. He wants to come back and just give his career that bit of climax. So I would say, there is like a 4 out of 10 chance that it could happen.
There's a time, Sané, as you said, when he was playing for Man City and Sterling on the right side, they were absolutely incredible. They were destroying teams. They were scoring a lot of those tap-ins, like, run, cross, tap-in, run, cross, tap-in. They made it look so easy when David Silva was there as well. Now, I'm slightly skeptical that he'd join us because he wouldn't want to be a backup. But if you have a backup like Sané to help out Saka on that wing, you've taken the game to the next level having a player like this. I actually don't know how old he is exactly. Do you have an idea?
28.
So you're signing a lot of 28-year-olds, huh? It's a 28 club now. So it would be interesting. But would you guys take Sané, and how much would you be willing to pay for him? And that's the last question for you, because you're on Sané. How much do you think Sané is worth?
Now, recently, I thought about the wingers we were linked with, and I was like, does really Sané have the Sané elements, speed, quick, physical, like he was at Man City? And I'm like, yes, he still has them, but it's declining. So he would not be my first priority, but I would take him over nothing, and I would take him over a player like maybe Neto, who is a little bit expensive at 50 million. I'd also take him over.
I know the other player you're going to talk about. Let me bring him to that conversation. Raphinha. Yeah. According to reports, Arsenal preparing a 50 million bid for Raphinha. The Gunners tried to sign the Brazilian before he moved to Barcelona, and Mikel remains a big fan of the player. Barcelona would be willing to sell the winger this summer if they can complete a deal for Nico Williams. Now, I remember already asked Ozzy about Raphinha and players like Vlahovic, and I explained, well, we need to put our pride behind us. Let's not go for a player because you rejected us before. But as you were saying, you take Sané ahead of Raphinha. Why?
Yeah, I'll take Sané ahead of Raphinha because of the transfer fee involved. Sané would be a market opportunity. His contract runs down in 2025. So that's a market opportunity. That's a very good market opportunity. So yeah, I'll take him at how much? 25 million euros. Last year on his deal. Last year on his deal. I mean, they're talking about 60 million euros. For me, that's too much. That's very, very much. Okay, 30 million euros maximum. I mean, last year on his deal, he's 28, no resale value. We are taking him, and it's over. Like right now, how much are we going to sell for Trossard? How much? Like, not that much, really. So with Raphinha, that's my biggest problem, actually. It's the price. Even hearing that Arsenal are preparing a bid of 50 million pounds, 59 million euros, I touched my head to feel if I still have hair. And yes, I still had hair. And I was like, there is something going horribly wrong right here. How is he 60 million euros? Then I remembered that, they bought him at around that price, and, he still has a long contract and all that. Now, with Raphinha, I actually rate him more than many people rate him. I like him more than many people like him. I think he's so talented, both, gifted on both feet, left foot, right foot, can play anywhere on that forward line. Maybe apart from him being a striker, he's very creative and so lethal on dead ball situations. Like, he would be that player that he would be our Cristiano on free kicks. Every time we have a free kick, we expect him to deliver it. Every time we have a free kick, we expect him to swing it into the penalty area. And I like it because as a player, you've got to have that value that you provide to a club, but the price is too much, guys. The price is too much. 60 million euros for a guy who's not going to be a guaranteed starter. It's too much.
It's a lot of money. I agree. That's kind of money for, unless if you didn't have Saka in the team and you're looking for someone to take our wing level, our wing position to the next level, then you can go and pay that kind of money for a winger. But because we already have Saka in that position, that's not really a position where we want to splash that amount of money because we want strikers in midfielders. I think it would be a lot of money. And then because I don't care what you have to say, I still feel like that this guy refused to join us, I pay 60 million for him again. I don't know, but I do get what you mean. I do get what you mean. But a lot of people say, let's put our pride behind. Let's wait and see what happens with Raphinha. So, quick fire on that one. Sane for 50 million or Neto for 50 million?
Neto 50 million. Neto is younger. Resale value is there.
Okay, so Neto for 40 million or Raphinha for 40 million?
Raphinha for 40 million. Obviously, he's less injury prone.
Raphinha on loan and then probably buy option next season, or sign Sane right now for 40?
Raphinha on loan, buy option.